Hello. You don't know me, but one of the most disappointing weapons in Fallout New Vegas is the Bozar. It originates from Fallout 2, where apparently it was a pretty decent big gun weapon. But here in Fallout New Vegas, it is severely outclassed by several other weapons in the niches that it fills. It's a worse sniper rifle than the anti-material rifle, has a way lower magazine than the light machine gun, especially when that is upgraded, and it doesn't benefit from the Grunt Perk due to issues. This all got me thinking though, would it really be all that bad if you dedicated a run for it? So that's what I'm doing today. Can I beat Fallout New Vegas with only the Bozar? For this run, the GRA challenges are, yeah, see? Vault 13's Revenge, and because the Bozar is both a GRA and a unique weapon, both Curios and Relics, and Master of the Arsenal. But before we begin with this challenge, I just want to say, if you haven't subscribed already, please do. It helps the channel grow, and I'm trying to get this channel monetized before YouTube's coming update to their policy. So if you want to help me out, please check out my other videos as well after you're finished watching this one. Thank you once again for bearing with that. But with all that out of the way, let's begin with character creation. Special stats. Because of the Bozar's weapon requirement, I bumped strength all the way up to 8. I drained perception because it wasn't really that useful. I had 7 in endurance just because. I drained charisma as well because it's Fallout New Vegas. And I put in 8 in intelligence, 7 agility, and 8 in luck despite the low crit chance of the Bozar because, as I'll get into later, I needed funds for this weapon. For my tag skills, I chose guns because the Bozar, believe it or not, is a gun. Medicine, and barter for the slightest of discounts for when I buy the Bozar in the shop. For traits, I picked skills, and then after a little bit of consideration, small frame for that additional point in agility. After looting Doc Mitchell's house, I went over to Chet and sold everything that I didn't need. I knew that I would need a lot of caps in order to afford that Bozar, so pinching pennies right now seemed like a good idea. I then traveled over to Sloan, fixed up Snuffle legs, stole some spare caps from the mining office, and marked Hidden Valley on my map for later. I then made my way through the Black Mountain shortcut, but unfortunately I messed up along the way, and a super mutant started chasing me up the hill. Luckily, I was able to escape past him after making it up the hill where they rolled those giant rocks at you. Now that I was near Vegas, I made my way to the Gunrunners, where they already had my Bozar in stock. It was only there for a mere 2,000 caps. Not too bad. A trip to the Atomic Wrangler would set me up with enough funds for it. Oh, wait a minute, my bad. That's the price for the battle rifle. The Bozar actually costs 28,370 caps. At this point, I only had 727 caps amassed from selling spare weapons, ammo, and junk at both Chet at the Vendortron. I would need 27,643 caps just to be able to purchase the Bozar. Well, no time like the present. I made my way to the Atomic Wrangler, made use of my 8 luck. I gambled until I was banned, getting me 5,000 caps and level 2, where I took rapid reload ahead of time. I then took a little stroll on the strip and started gambling there as well. I drained the Omertas of their funds, then the tops, taking a moment to look at Benny to jump to level 6, where I got the Educated Perk as always, and Black Widow. And at last was the Ultra Deluxe, getting me 9,000, 10,000, and 15,000 caps respectively. And then for the hell of it, I went over to Mr. House's casino and cashed in the 3 snow globes that I found along the way, making my total caps earned being 46,083 caps. There was not only enough for me to buy the Bozar, but also plenty of ammo for it too. I went back to the strip and decided that I would reward those casinos that granted me the funds for my weapon, by using the very thing to kill them all. I needed to complete those GRA challenges after all. First was the Omertas, because they were the closest to the strip's entrance. Then I went over to the chairman and wiped them out as well, snagging the platinum chip off of Benny. And last was the White Glove Society. These guys put up the worst performance, as they just slowly ran towards me with dress canes. Like, seriously, not a single gun on them. Do they just think bullets are barbarian? Do they not like loud noises? What's going on? During this time, I did learn a weakness of the Bozar. It has pretty low health. The surplus rounds that I've been using may have had something to do with that, but it was still cause for concern, considering how expensive it was to buy, it would stand to reason that constantly repairing it would get expensive as well. And yes, I know that I have a lot of caps even after my shopping spree, but still. With the first of my GRA challenges done 10 times over, I went over to Mr. House and turned in the platinum chip because I like money. He then gave me his presentation inside his basement. And while watching this, I couldn't help but notice that there were more Securitrons on the walls. I also noticed that when they got upgraded, their greens all turned red. I don't know if anyone noticed that before. I thought it was neat. Also, I got the Living Anatomy perk at level 8. With that done, I still had more money to burn, so after upgrading my combat armor to the Mark II and installing a couple of implants, I decided to up the difficulty of this challenge by increasing the in-game difficulty up to very hard. With that in mind, I then took another visit to Black Mountain. This time, however, I wasn't here to pass through. I was here for slaughter. I traveled up the path and fought through the super mutants. They were certainly tougher than they were last time I came past here. I even got both of my damage GRA challenges done. Eventually I made my way to the top of the mountain, and faced their master, Tabitha. Unfortunately, the preceding brutes were more of a fight than her. She just dropped her super sledge and couldn't hit me very hard with her punches. But hey, with her death I completed the last of my GRA challenges. That whole trip left me with my gun half broken and no more weapon repair kits left, so I decided to just find out how much it would cost to repair it at this point. I made a quick trip down to the Mojave outpost and checked in with Ranger Knight for how much repairs would cost, and holy cow, that's 10,000 off from how much it cost me to buy the damn thing in the first place. But luckily, after clearing out some ants, I was able to get 2 more weapon repair kits from Ranger Jackson and some armor piercing rounds that will surely be useful later. Now, with the GRA challenges completely done, I figured it was finally time that I actually got back to the main quest. I went to Ambassador Crocker, and he wants me to negotiate with the boomers. Not a problem. Dodging their artillery was a breeze like always. Voer is now my quest, because the boomers want me to solve the problems that they brought upon themselves. Those stuck-up bastards. First I went to their medical office and cured their injured. Next I let the child yap about something or whatever while I tried to get a cool bottle flip. I never landed it. Talked to him more and pretended that I cared. And then I spent an embarrassingly long time trying to land the bottle flip afterwards. Someone who's not me should make a video where they actually land it and then tag me in it. That would be fun. I then repaired a whole bunch of solar panels and went inside and took care of their ant problem. Now that I think about it though, if these guys originated from Vault 34, and that vault has like a bunch of regular guns and stuff, like bright shotguns, and like you get the All-American in there, why don't the boomers have any regular guns? Did they not bring any of the regular guns when they left? Or did they run out of ammo while they were traveling? Like what happened? I'm genuinely serious. I want to know this. Anyways, now that the boomers love me, they still have things that they want me to do. So I went over to their lake and lifted a bomber from the watery grave. And then that got some attention by some young cazadors. But they were no trouble. They didn't really even get that close to me. The boomers now treat me as their idol, which means nothing. I reported back to Crocker, and now the job that he wants me to do is to get rid of Pacer. Not a problem. I walked inside the King's building in Freeside, and I proceeded to murder everyone inside. I don't know why I did this. I think I was bored. Wasted a whole lot of condition on my gun too, so that I did not need to do that. Why did I do this? The NCR questline done, I now report to Colonel Moore. Her first assignment is for me to wipe out the Great Khans. Before I did that though, I visited Quartermaster Barton and got a fuck ton of bullets. Like, seriously, this guy is just a bullet hoarder. Dealing with them wasn't too difficult. For some reason, even though that I killed their leader, they do not care enough to kill me on sight. Plus, I got a good amount of drugs from the adventure too. However, now my Bozar was close to breaking, and I didn't know where to get any more weapon repair kits. The next assignment the Colonel has for me is to remove Mr. House. Not too difficult. I went inside the Lucky 38, and it was surprising to me that Mr. House still trusts me at this point. Like, bro does not have his own spy network. What is he doing? Anyway, I tried getting into his bunker, but then I made a quick save in a bad spot while trying to rush to his elevator, and I ended up stuck in a loop where I take a missile in the face every single time I loaded in, and I died. I thought for a moment that I was fucked, But that's when raiding the Great Khans came in clutch. I activated Turbo and I was able to blitz my way into Mr. House's other basement with like 10 health left. I then opened up his casket and killed Mr. House, which leveled me up to 14, and I was finally able to take the jury rigging perk. This allowed me to repair my Bozar with any two-handed automatic gun, such as the assault and service rifles. Oh hey look, reinvigorated, I returned to my next assignment, where she wants me to wipe out the Brotherhood of Steel. I traveled back to Hidden Valley and began a full frontal assault. After a good fight, I managed to make my way past the initial group of paladins that greet me, but when I entered their first floor, I was overwhelmed by their sheer numbers. I tried popping a turbo and rushing past them, but that just left me in a worse position. After trying at this for a few times, I figured I wasn't prepared enough, so I loaded an old save, got some more bullets, got some more stim packs, and more drugs. Second try around, I was still having a rough time. Despite my armor being in the best condition and drinking an atomic cocktail, their Gauss rifles still hit me like a truck. Eventually, I figured out a method. Taking the ones out with the Gauss rifles was their first priority. Once they are down, I could take the Gauss rifles off the ground, and then the other Brotherhood of Steel members couldn't use them, as comparatively, their tri-beam laser rifles did not do nearly as much damage, which meant that they could be whittled down next. I packed 700 armor-piercing rounds for this, but ended up using not only all of them, but also all of the hand-loader rounds that I had for this. In the third layer, things were a bit easier, as only 3 paladins were down here. This took a long time to wear down, because at this point I was just solely relying on surplus ammo, and the scribes that accompanied them were also annoying, but eventually I was able to wipe them all out. I then collected the 3 keycards and rigged the bunker to explode. With the emotors already taken care of, it was time in the NCR storyline to prevent their president from being assassinated. But I've done this plenty of times at this point, so I'll just kind of skip this over. I went over to the sniper's tower, and right after the disguised legionnaire killed the NCR sniper, I gunned him down and reported over the radio. With everything done, I met with General Oliver, leveled up to 16, and took the Stonewall perk, just in case. Now it was time for the final battle. The Legion was assaulting the Hoover Dam all over. For the interior parts, I just ran past all the Legionaries and scavenged what dead bodies I came across. I went into this right after the presidential assassination, so I didn't have any stim packs stocked up. So I was just kind of hoping I'd find some. Through the top of the dam, I did start to have some fun. I shot the Centurions with my gun, and let the NCR back up and support me. Eventually, I made it to the other side of the dam and into the Legate's camp. While clearing out the Praetorians hanging out there, one of the NCR veteran rangers that helps you out on the final section of the dam had managed to come through the gate that he's normally not supposed to get through, and he actually helped out. I tried to get him into the fight area himself, but he didn't seem interested. Still cool seeing another unique glitch in New Vegas. I tried fighting the Legate head on, but I was very outclassed. Even pumping myself full of drugs didn't work. Legate just hits that hard. Especially with his full army. After a couple attempts, I searched the entire camp to gather what healing supplies I could. Turns out, there's a bunch of healing powders in these little lockers in the tents over here. I loaded my Bozar with armor-piercing rounds and took every drug that I had, and I nearly managed to wipe the Legate out after firing every single armor-piercing bullet that I had, but he managed to run away and bring back his entire army. I was able to kill him in this attempt, but his horde got me. Learning from this, I figured that if I could kill him before he leaves the hill area where you meet him, I could kill the other Praetorians and finally beat this challenge. And hey, with the very next attempt, I was right. I focused on his body and used VATS to catch him before the Legate could get away. The Praetorians weren't much trouble either, more annoying than anything else. I didn't feel like dealing with them, so I got the NCR vet earlier to help me out with that. He somehow managed to wander his way to the camp. And with that, General Oliver tells me I did a good job, while Fallout New Vegas struggled not to shit itself into another crash, and I beat the game. So, can I beat Fallout New Vegas with only a Bozar? Yes. This challenge was both surprisingly easy and surprisingly hard. Like at the early game, I was dominating so hard, even on very hard difficulty, but in the end, I was struggling to get by, which I think goes back to the problem with the Bozar that I mentioned at the start of the video. It's pretty much the worst of the endgame weapons, at least one of the worst. Regardless, thanks for watching my video. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share with your friends. It really help out a first-time YouTuber like me. Feel free to leave any ideas you have for future videos. Until then, I'm the Corruptest, and I'll see y'all next time.